Hello everyone. Welcome to today's session on how COVID-19 vaccines work. From past few weeks I have been hearing a lot of gossips and rumors about vaccines. So in today's lecture I would like to debunk all these myths and rumors that are spreading. Before discussing how COVID-19 vaccines work, first we should understand the central dogma of life, how life works. As we all know, we inherit characteristics from our parents due to transfer of genetic material, or what we say genes. These are made up of DNA. DNA contains smaller subunits called nucleotides. These nucleotides are abbreviated as A, G, C, and T. What happens in human body is this DNA is gets converted into something called RNA. The only difference between DNA and RNA is in DNA we have T unit, but in RNA we have U. Another difference is DNA has double-stranded structure while RNA has only a single-stranded structure. Synthesizing RNA from the information available in DNA is called transcription. And in the second step, proteins are synthesized from the information available in RNA. This process is called translation. So, the two steps, transcription and translation, that is synthesis of RNA from the information in DNA and synthesis of protein from the information in RNA. So now we will see what happens when SARS-CoV-2 infects human body and how it destroys the cellular function. So here you see this SARS-CoV-2 virus, and surrounding this virus there is a black colored thing. This is called as spike protein. So when this virus enters human body, this protein gets attached to another protein in the human body. This is called the ACE2 protein. So the spike protein of the SARS-CoV-2 virus, that is the COVID-19 virus, it gets attached to the ACE2 protein in the human body. So when it gets attached, this blocks the function of the protein. And then what this virus does is it replicates. That means it increases its population. So because of this, it starts invading another cells and then stops the functions of ACE2 protein in other cells. In this way, the virus captures our body and then stops its normal functioning. So this is the way in which SARS-CoV-2 infects human body. So what to do to stop this SARS-CoV-2 destruction of protein functioning? We will see. So our immune system, what it does is it identifies this so-called spike protein in the human body and it generates some molecules called antibodies. These green colored ones, these are called antibodies. These antibodies, they gets attached to the spike protein and then destroys this spike protein. Therefore, eventually the virus gets destroyed. But what are the limitations of this immune response? Some people, they don't have very strong immune system. Their immune system is little bit weak. So this immune system could not cope up with the virus. For example, the virus is rapidly increasing its number, but the immune system may not be able to generate sufficient number of antibodies. So in this case, we require some external help. For example, we take some antiviral medicines that stop the replication of the virus. So how do we prevent it? We prevent it by using vaccination. So what vaccination does? Let us see. So there are like broadly 4 different kinds of vaccines that are available now. So in my first slide, I told you about transcription and translation. Transcription is conversion of DNA into RNA and translation is conversion of RNA to protein. This is common for Not only this is common not only in human beings but also in microbes such as bacteria and viruses. So, for example, you can take the virus DNA, the genetic material in the virus, and then you can inject this virus DNA as a vaccine. What this virus DNA does is it gets transformed into virus RNA, and then it gets transformed into the spike protein. So this is one way in which you can treat. That is a DNA based vaccine. The second one is you take the virus RNA and then inject this virus RNA into the human body. And this virus RNA gets transformed into the spike protein. This is the second way. The third way, you directly take the spike protein and inject this spike protein into the human body. And the fourth way, and probably the easiest way for you to understand, is directly inject the virus. But the thing is, this virus should not be able to replicate. It should not be able to increase its population. So what we do is you inactivate the virus by some chemical or by some heat. So this is the chemically inactivated virus vaccine. So 4 vaccines, either you can take virus DNA, or you can take virus RNA, or you can take the protein, the spike protein of the virus, or you can just take the full virus. It does not matter whether it is your own DNA or own RNA, or it is viral DNA or viral RNA. As a matter of fact, human body contains only 50% of our own DNA or our own RNA. The other 50% is bacterial or viral DNA, RNA that also comes from our parents, but it is not the human gene. It is the viral gene or bacterial gene. So the human body does not distinguish between whether it is human DNA or viral RNA. So yeah, so these 4 kinds of vaccinations, now we see some vaccinations like Covishield. This is developed by AstraZeneca, Oxford University, and Serum Institute of India. These 3 institutes together developed. This is a DNA based vaccine. So what they do is they take the viral DNA and they encapsulate it in some other virus called adenovirus. This is the DNA based vaccine. And the other Sputnik 5 developed by Russia. This is also a DNA based vaccine. And the vaccines developed by the US companies Pfizer and Moderna, they are based on the RNA of the virus. We don't have any spike protein based vaccines available now. The Covaxin that is developed by Bharat Biotech, this is a direct virus vaccine. They directly take the virus, they inactivate it by adding a chemical compound. Because of this inactivation, this virus will not be able to replicate. That means the virus cannot increase its population after entering into the human body. So these are the 4 different types of vaccines: DNA based vaccine, RNA based vaccine, spike protein based vaccine, full virus based vaccine. Now we will see how these vaccines work. So when these vaccines enter a body, if it is a DNA based vaccine, then it enter inside the cell and inside the nucleus, and then this DNA gets transformed into RNA, and then RNA gets transformed into the spike protein of the virus. If it is RNA based vaccine, then it directly gets transformed into the spike protein. If it is a spike protein, then it directly gets attached to your ACE2 receptor. If it is a virus, then the spike protein of this virus gets attached to the ACE2 receptor. Then what the body does is, as it does in the case of the actual COVID-19 virus, the same thing it does with the vaccine. It produces antibodies. This is what we call immune response. But the difference between the vaccine and the actual virus, is that in the case of vaccine, there is no replication mechanism for the virus. So it is easy for our body to generate antibodies that can attach to this spike protein and destroy the spike protein. So this response, we say it as immune response, is stored in our body as a memory response. That means when a person gets vaccinated and the antibodies are generated, this generation of antibodies, how to synthesize these antibodies, this is stored in the memory. In future, when we are contacted with COVID-19 virus, and the automatically our body triggers this memory, and it knows how to generate this antibodies because of this memory response. So in this way, vaccines protect us. So it is really important that we should take vaccines. They are safe and effective. All these vaccines I have discussed, Pfizer vaccine, Moderna vaccine, and the two vaccines in India, Covishield made by Serum Institute and Covaxin made by Bharat Biotech. All these vaccines are proved in clinical trials, both first phase, second phase, and third phase clinical trials. They are proved effective. They are proved to be safe. Maybe you may say that they have some side effects like body pains or fever, but these are very short-lived side effects. So no need to worry about this. In long term, you don't have any side effects. So there is no need to worry about side effects or safety of vaccine. Vaccines are safe. They are very safe. And some vaccines are proved to be effective. So my suggestion as a researcher in biochemistry is go and get vaccinated, save the humanity. Thank you.